Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
So, before starting the poem, I would like to ask you a question. Why is it necessary to keep quiet? When we sit for the prayer or when we sit for the yoga, so silence is must. So, why do you think so?
Peace of
Yes, peace of mind. Okay. So if there is no silence, then there won't be the benefit that which we want or for what we are doing the exercise. So it is must to keep silence. When we keep silence, we will experience something internally that we cannot express in our words. So in the same way, today we are going to see a poem. The name of the poem is Keeping Quiet. The poet of the poem is Pablo Neruda, and he tells us to keep quiet. And why we are going to keep quiet, or why we should keep quiet? What are the benefits? He wants to give us so many explanations, or he wants to teach us so many things that when you keep silence, what will be the benefits. Okay, so before the poem, let me give you the short, brief summary. He tells us to keep silence. Us means not for particular people. He wants to keep silence the whole world, not for the whole day, whole hour, just for some moments. He tells us that if the whole world keeps quiet for some moments, what will happen? So there will be some, we cannot explain the thing in the word, but what we will experience, that will be very exotic, means very beautiful experience. All the engines will stop, means engine means all the vehicles, trains, everything will stop. There won't be any noise, no noise pollution. So we will have completely silence. Then he tells us not to use any language. Why? When we use language, it creates the barriers. Yes. So he tells us not to use any language. So just keep quiet. Then he tells us not to move any arm. Arm means weapons. That means not to fight. For example, if we take the present example, that is America and not Russia, Iran. The war is going on. Why? Because they don't want to keep silence. That is the main reason. So Pablo Neruda, the poet, tells us not to use or not to move any arm, means not to fight or not to have any war, because it brings us only and only destructions. It kills the people, it destroys the world. Then he tells us so many other things. That means he tells us further that if you keep quiet, especially the fishermen, they won't go for the fishing, and the fish means, especially in this poem it is mentioned whale. The whale will be saved. Then second example, those who gather the salt, they won't harm their hands. Then third, those who cut the trees, that is called here green wall. So if you keep quiet, means those who cut the trees, they will stop, environment will be saved. So there won't be so much destruction in the environment. Then further he gives us so many examples. In short, the theme of the poem is we have to keep silence, we have to be inactive and just introspect our own self. That means we have to examine ourselves. Yeah, ourselves. What are we doing? Are we harming anyone by our own actions? So nowadays all are busy. Nobody has time to look into themselves or oneself. So the poet Pablo Neruda tells us the main theme that just we keep quiet, we have to be inactive, and just we have to examine ourselves what is going on in our inner part, or what are our actions. Okay, now let us see the poem. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Now the poet tells us that I will start counting 1 to 12. Why the particular number is given here 12? Because in watch we see that 1 to 12 numbers are there. Then one more thing, that is month of the year, they are also 12. That's why the poet has given the particular number, that he tells us I will start counting 1 to 12 and you all, means the whole world, will keep quiet. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. He tells us that we should not use any language. If we use different languages, there will be problem. So he tells us not to use any language, just keep silence. Second thing, he tells us not to use any arm. That means not to use any weapon. We should not have any. We should keep quiet, we should be silent, we should not move any arms, we should not fight the battles, wars, he tells us. Next, it would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden stillness. Yes, if we keep quiet, he tells us exotic moment. Exotic moment means we will have the real happy moment. That means it will be very happy experience. That means what I said, that we cannot express in the words, just we can experience it. It will be very beautiful moments. We would all be together in sudden stillness. That means when we keep silence, we all will be like what to say, that is we will be in a very happy moment, or in a particular the time will be very particular for us. We will experience something good thing. There won't be any negativity. Then he further tells us, gives us the examples for what, when we keep quiet, what will be the benefits. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. That means he gives two examples. First is for the fishermen. If the fishermen also keep quiet, if they become inactive, they won't go for the fishing, and the fish, that means the whale, will be saved. They will not kill the whale. And the man gathering salt would look at his hands. So those who work in the salt, they don't have time to look at their hands even, because they are so busy. In short, we all are so busy that we don't have time to look into ourselves, examine ourselves. The poet wants to tell that way, that what are we, who are we. By giving the example of salt gatherers, he tells us that if the salt gatherer, those who work in the salt, they will keep quiet. If they become inactive, then they will pay attention to their hands, because their hands are harmed so much. Now they will realize and they won't harm once again. Next, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shed doing nothing. Yes. Those who prepare green wards. Green wards means here those who cut the trees. For what? Those who cut trees for farming. Yeah. Building the houses, etc., etc. Companies, factories. So if they keep quiet, they also won't cut the trees. Okay. Then wars with gas, wars with fire. Fire means with when they shoot with the guns, weapons. Then wars with gas means when they use the bomb, yeah, missiles. That is victory with no survivors. Yes, when they make the wars, they use the weapons. It is so much destructive, and the poet says, even if you win the war without people, there won't be many people. So what is the use of winning a victory? Because there won't be so many people. How are you going to celebrate the victory? Okay. Yes, and walk about with their brothers in the shed doing nothing. That means if we keep quiet, there won't be cutting the trees, there won't be war, battle, and there will be, all will be like brothers. That means no enmity. Next, what I want should not be confused. Poet tells us that what I mean, that you don't be confused, that if I say keep silence means you don't have to do anything. Like a dead body, you die. No, his meaning is something different. That is, with total inactivity means what you do, you don't do anything. When I say to keep quiet for some moment, you don't do anything, just you have to be keep quiet. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves. Okay. What he says, that what I say, that means you don't make noise or keep silence, means that you have to be in total silence, and it is not that some particular people will keep silence. It is not single-minded, means all the people should think the same thing. Okay, then only we can success in our works. And perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness, means in this world there are so many negativities, so much unhappiness is there. So if we do whole, means if we keep silence, the everything will go out. What is that everything? Negativity plus sadness. Of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Yes, today all are busy in their own work. They all are rushing to their works. Why? Everybody wants to achieve the thing in advance. Everybody has the fear of death. So before his or her death, they want to complete their goal. They want to achieve something for their family, for their children, wife, etc., etc. So if we keep silence, there won't be any rush. We will be silent, and we won't have any fear of death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. So the Pablo Neruda, means the poet, tells us we have to learn something from the poem. From the earth. What do we have to learn? That many times it looks dead, but it is not. For example, seeds. The seeds look dead, but when we plant in the mud or earth, after some times it grows up. There is life. In the same thing, the poet tells us, you be cool and calm like the seeds. Okay, I don't want you to die, but I want to be cool and calm, be quiet. Like you have to be like Sid. Yes. Now I shall count to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So once again he says that now I am going to count till 12, 1 to 12, and you have to be keep quiet for how long? For just for some moments. Okay. And the poet is going from here. So here we stop the poem, but the main theme is, yes, keeping quiet means while keeping quiet we have to examine ourselves, or we can say we have to introspect ourselves. That is the main thing, because in this world, today's world, people don't have time to look into their own self. So the poet tells us to examine ourselves and our all the works, that whether we are doing the right thing, whether we are harming others by our works or actions. That is very, very important. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.